Alright guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 tips to improve defensively in NCAA Football 14. Now, to do this, we're going to be using my personal bread and butter formation, the 4-2-5 Okie across, and the base play we're going to be using is the Bullets double 3. Now, the first tip I want to talk about defensively is have the ability to get defensive pressure off of the left of screen edge and off the right of screen edge. And you're going to see that's one of the biggest reasons why I enjoy the 4-2-5 Okie across so much. Because when we base align and when we spread our linebackers, you see that those linebackers go on the edges, allows an easy pressure to come off of either edge and unpredictability as to what coverage we could be behind it. So that's the first tip. Be able to get pressure left and be able to get pressure right, only sending 5 guys. Another example here is off the right side. So now from the same look, we can send pressure right and we can send pressure left. That's the number one tip, in my opinion, to be able to have an elite defense. The second tip, in my opinion, to have an elite defense is be able to bring pressure with different coverages behind it. So in this example, you're going to see I have a cover 3 defense, a cover 3 shell behind my pressure. So here I'm going to set up my pressure, and it's going to come off the left edge untouched. Okay, so we see that, and now we're from a cover 3 shell. But the beauty of this defense is I could quickly audible down into my blitz audible down, and now I'm bringing the same pressure from a man style, but now it's going to be coming off the right side with a little lurking linebacker over the middle. And that time the quarterback just broke the tackle. And then we're going to go out and grab it. But you would normally have this in your audibles. I just don't have it in mine because I forgot to set it in there before I started recording. But it's the Bullets double B3. And so now we have a cover 2 style blitz to mix in with our cover 3 and cover 2 man under style blitz. So now we're sending pressure with a cover 2 shell behind it. And you see how we're changing the coverages behind it, but we're still sending the same heat. And again, I could send this left side or right side. It doesn't matter. So here you're going to see I'm going to send it from the right now with a different coverage, a different shell behind it. Yes, this leaves certain routes open, but but the cool part and the beauty of this is the same route is not open every time. If you notice, the flats are open against one defense, and the curl flats are probably open against the next one, and then the middle is open against the this one. But the beauty is we're taking away different reads every time. So eventually we're going to gamble and we're going to guess right, and we're going to have everything they want to go to covered. The number 3 defensive tip for improving this season in NCAA Football 14 is patience. Now, this is something that I struggle with now, but I'm really developing a lot in NCAA because you have to have patience in NCAA football because of the way the offense plays this season. It's very easy to score on this year's game, especially on offense, and it's very difficult for the defense to have a really dominant defense. So what I like to do is I like to back off my coverage, and the reason is that so that I give the illusion that I'm playing the deep stuff, but in actuality here I'm in a cover 2 shell. But they don't know that. The offense doesn't know what I'm calling because it all looks the same. And so you see the beauty of this defense, how we're starting to form our own defense scheme. You could do this from any playbook in the game. Every playbook is able to be used the same exact way. It's just, what do you prefer? Do you prefer 4 down linemen? Do you prefer 3 down linemen? Do you prefer 5 defensive backs? Do you prefer 2? It's all option. And so like here, see, I could drop maybe my guys into deep blue zones and then put my safeties in quarterback spies so they lurk the middle. Yes, it doesn't look like a safe coverage, but it is safe because you're establishing deep coverage and then you come down. So patience, in my opinion, being willing to give up a couple of yards a game, but also making sure you don't get beat deep, making the opponent drive up the field with pressure in his face every single time. The next thing that I want to talk about, and probably one of the most important defensive tips, is making important adjustments. And what I mean by this, we're going to call a timeout here. We're going to go back and grab that cover 3. Adjust to what your opponent is doing. Don't give him, if he's throwing quick slants to the wide receiver every time, which you'll probably see a lot of this season, then make a play. Put your corner in a spy. Yeah, could you get beat deep if he calls a slant or a streak? Maybe, but the pressure's coming in. So you got that corner in a spy, and now he's going to make a tackle. He's going to play the route. Another thing you could do is you could put your slot guy in a spy, put the corner in a yellow, and so now you have the same pressure, but now you have that quick read locked up. So he tries to throw it, and there's a guy right there. We got to drop. Certain things are going to happen. Another thing I like doing is bringing quarterback spies from the opposite side. So in this example, this guy's in a deep blue. Remember, we're backing off the coverage every play, so it looks deceptive, and he doesn't know what we're in. Now we're lurking in the middle, and they try to throw that, and now they're sacked, and they hesitate, and that's the key to great defense, making important adjustments, adjusting to what your opponent is doing. If he's throwing out routes, put a purple zone out there. If he's throwing slant routes, put a quarterback spy out there. Do something. Don't just sit in a cover 3 and expect to stop people. This is one of the most important videos you guys will see all season because it's going to give you the blueprint for playing defense in this season's game. And again, the blueprint's the same every year. Bring pressure right, left, drop coverage deep behind it, and be able to be flexible with different shells in behind the coverage. They're not always going to see a cover 3. They're not always going to see a cover 2, and they're not always going to see a man. They're not always going to see a blitz even. We could quick audible up, and now we could just use one of the best defensive ends in the game and say, okay, I'm just going to, one-on-one you and then drop everybody into coverage, and now what are they going to go? You lurk in the middle with the safety. That guy's got a one-on-one. He's the best defensive end in the game. You're going to win that one-on-one matchup. So, again, be patient. Little recap here. Be able to bring pressure left to right. Be able to change up your coverage behind your pressure. Be willing to be patient on defense, give up stuff, realize you're going to give up some yardage, but also be deceptive with your coverages. Call backed off coverage and then come into cover 2 shell. Be deceptive with your coverages. And then the last tip we just went over, be willing to make adjustments. Click on your guys, put them in quarterback spies, put them in purple zones, put them in flat zones. Just adjust to what your opponent's doing. And the most important tip, in my opinion, defensively this season is going to be learning the art of user control. Now, user control is going to cover a lot here, and there's 3 main categories of user control: baiting, user bumping, and user covering. So, a lot of times what you'll see is if they're throwing quick slants to square here, sit right here with Marcus. Just sit right here and just run in circles, show them that you're that guy. And here's what you can do. One time, just sit there. Sit right on that slant, follow it, do that. I can't really do it because I'm using two controls here. But again, what's that going to do? It's going to negate them from throwing that stupid slant route. So now what you can do is, you can come down with Marcus, hey, I'm this guy, I'm going to cover that slant, and they're going to throw a tight end streak in behind it. Snap the ball, you don't cover that slant, you get back on that tight end streak, and now they hesitate, pressure comes in, and they're screwed. It's all about trickery. It's all about deception, guys. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is user bumping. So here I'm going to play on this defensive end. I'm not going to show the opponent that I'm in. But you want to hit L2, and you want to hold R1. And to snap the ball, well, I missed him. But you got to be lined up. But this game, because user bumping is one of the hardest things to do, one of the hardest things to master. But let me see if I can get it for you. Slide him in over this guy. Pass commit, hold R1. And there you see that user bump. And now they're not going to throw to him because he's been pressed, timing's been moved, and now they're sacked because they're hesitating because they don't know what you're doing. And that's the beauty of defense as opposed to offense. You can never simulate what a user player will do. You can never always guarantee what I'm going to be doing with my user player. And so the ability to have that, and then I could just jump back down, and again, the pressure comes in so hot on this defense that you're going to be able to really lock your opponent down. So overall, I think that's one of the most important skills to have. And then lastly, user coverage. User coverage, what I like to call it is baiting. Basically, and this is a little bit more of an advance. So if they're trying to throw, this is a tactic I did last year. If they're trying to throw 2 streaks up the seams, something like this, and last year it was really effective. What I would do is I would go with that other one like I was going to, and then jump back on the near one, because it forced them to really pick and choose what they were going to do. I knew what I was doing, but they had no idea what I was doing. So it was one of those situations where if you threw to the left slot streak, you probably could get it because my momentum's going to be turning back. But with the initial read is they're going to be looking, okay, which streak's open? I'm going to that one, so they're going to go to the opposite one. So then basically I know what they know, and I manipulate what they know so that I can win, is essentially what's happening here. I'm showing them that I got this streak, and then they throw back, and I'm over here. Obviously it's hard to do with 2 hands, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. So a little recap before we get out of here today. Top 5 tips to improve overnight defensively is master the art of user skill. Be able to be confident in user a safety or a guy in coverage, and not be afraid to make adjustments. And then that leads me right into tip number 2. Don't be afraid to make defensive adjustments. Don't be afraid to put corners in hook zones or spies. Don't be afraid to run a play that's different than the play art. It's really gonna help you guys out in this game. Also, don't be afraid to or be patient defensively. Be able to have deception, make everything look the same, but also make sure that you have, usually at least one guy in the deep blue zone, and make sure that you are patient. You're willing to give up some short stuff, but you want to try to checkmate them at the right time. And then the last 2 tips: make sure you have a pressure or a blitz that comes off the right side and the left side, but it looks exactly the same. And then the last tip, guys, make sure that you could change your defensive coverages behind your blitzes because they look the same. So you could send the same heat from a cover 2 shell, from a cover 3 shell, and from a man coverage. Those are the essence of defense, guys. Top 5 tips, guys. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you like this, if you would like to see this defense actually broken down in full, be staying tuned for the 425 mini guide coming out soon. Also, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Lastly, but not least, make sure to hold me down with a like rating, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you.